Hey everybody, welcome to Zanpakuto Explain, the series where I try to explain every Zanpakuto in Bleach, and today I'm going to be talking about Sode no Shirayuki, Ryuki Akuchi's Zanpakuto. And before I get into it, I just want to say, spoiler warning, I'm going to be discussing final arc stuff in this video, so if you don't want spoilers on that, just wait until you read it or watched it whenever the anime comes out, and then come back, watch this video, get the whole rundown on Sode no Shirayuki. Okay, so I'm getting straight into the Shikai, and the spoilers, of course. Her Shikai is Sode no Shirayuki, which means sleeves of white snow, and the release command is Dance Sode no Shirayuki. The basic ability of Sode no Shirayuki is lowering Rukia's body temperature. She can make it so low that she can freeze anything she touches. She can create like ice quakes just by standing there. She can even lower it to the point where she's technically dead. And the sword just serves as an extension of that, which is why she can do all of her basic ice abilities you see in the anime or the first 500 chapters of the manga. So yeah, I really like her ability personally. It's like I don't really like normal elemental like Zanpakutos or like abilities in general that often. But Kubo just does most of them in a way where it's so awesome, and Sode no Shirayuki is a really good example of that. I love the spin on it. Well, I'll get into it later, but it's like dangerous for her to use. Okay, so now that I've talked about the basic ability of Sode no Shirayuki, we're on to the named techniques, the first of which being Dance, number 1, Tsukishiro, which means white moon. And basically, Rukia, like, slashes, she does, like, an anime slash where she, like, slashes and ends up behind the opponent. And that creates a, circle of ice that freezes anything inside of it. But then the ice circle becomes, like, a pillar that goes, like, super high upwards and just freezes anything inside of it. And then it shatters, killing the opponent instantly. Next up is probably Rukia's most iconic attack, which is Next Dance, Hakuren, meaning white wave. And basically Rukia like stabs the ground like 4 times, which leaves behind like these like ice like half blade things sticking out of the ground. And then she thrusts forward with her own sword. And it basically shoots like a wave of ice forward that just freezes opponents. It's not like a huge wave. It only covers the amount that like it starts at, like the left end stab marking and then ends at like the right end stab marking, if that makes any sense. So it's not like a huge wave. It's quite small, but it's still an effective ability. Like it managed to freeze Green Joe. It didn't kill him, but still froze him, which is something. So how are we gonna follow up the first 2 dances? Really cool abilities. Well, here's how we follow it up. We have third and the final dance, Hakuren. It's only got third dance, Hakuren, but it is the final dance, which means white sword. And Rukia, she extends her sword using ice. Yeah, I think most people are really disappointed in this ability, because like the first 2 dances are so cool, and I think everybody like agrees that Sode no Shirayuki is a really cool Zanpakuto. But Hakuren just isn't it. It sucks. I hate it. I wish it was cooler. It made for like a really cool moment where like her sword's broken and then she used it to like stab her and arrow, but like it could have been so much cooler. I don't see why she could have just extended her sword without saying third dance Hakuren. Hakuren could have been okay, it means white sword. Hakuren couldn't have been much more than just extending her sword, but it could have been something else, okay? Could have been something else. I'm disappointed in Hakuren. It sucks. I think everybody agrees on that. Okay, so the next one isn't technically a named ability, but it's way too cool not to mention. So basically, she freezes her body to like absolute 0, which is a very low temperature, obviously, and it causes her sword to turn like even wider, and then she thrusts forward, and then like the opponent just freezes like their entire body instantly, and not like in a block of ice, like the body just freezes over. It's awesome. But there's a downside. She can only stay in this form for 4 seconds, which isn't that long, and she has to slowly raise her body temperature back up to avoid dying. Yeah, it's a really dangerous ability, but it's awesome. It's probably my favorite thing Rukia does. It's just really cool. I love it. I wish we could see her use it more, but Unfortunately, she didn't fight all that much after the fight she used it in, so we never got the opportunity to see Absolute Zero twice. Okay, so there's two miscellaneous abilities. They aren't really named, but I think they stood out enough to be worth mentioning. One is she just creates like an ice shield. She used it once, and it's not a very like clear panel, so it's kind of hard to notice. But yeah, she can create ice shields. And the second one is she creates like an ice rope. She did it against Ryoruka, where she created an ice rope to touch her sword to like use the first dance from like a remote distance, which is what led me to believe she doesn't have to like actually move to use like the slash is just like superfluous. Like she can use like first dance to create like a ice circle thing without actually moving, which is a pretty cool ability, I guess. It is cool she can use her attacks like remotely by using like a rope to connect yourself with the sword and then using the sword to use an ability. It's cool. I like it. Okay, so now we're on to her Bankai, which is Haka no Togame, which means white haze punishment. And basically, upon activating it, Rukia gets like a very fancy white dress and like a bunch of really cool accessories. Her hair and eyes also turn white, and her sword becomes like transparent. And basically, she kind of stays in like one position and then just has the ability take effect. And what that ability is basically it's amplifying the absolute zero thing I was talking about before. So like when she activates it, like a giant like beam, like an ice beam, like shoots upwards, and then like a dome of ice, it's like formed, and then it just freezes like her entire like immediate area. It's not her immediate area; it's like a block around her. It just freezes instantly. And it's notably more powerful than Absolute Zero because a more powerful Asnot survives it or just instantly dies, gets his head chopped off, or like Ernio before was able to survive it in Ishikai. But just like the Absolute Zero ability, it is really dangerous to use. She has to like slowly deactivate it, and we see that if she doesn't do it perfectly, like her skin starts to crack, she starts to like bleed, and assumably if she does it too quickly, she will die. So yeah, super dangerous to use. Probably the most dangerous Bankai we've seen, like at least user-wise. Like Yamamoto's probably definitely the most dangerous, but like Yamamoto's dangerous to other people, and like the whole like universe or whatever. Sode no Shirayuki's just the most dangerous to the user, I'd say. Okay, so lastly, take this with a big grain of salt, I guess, but in the Brave Souls video game, we see like 10 years later Rukia or whatever, so like end of series Rukia, we see that when she activates her Bankai, she can fight in it. And if you don't consider the game canon, which like obviously most of the game isn't canon, even if you don't think this specific part of the character is canon, it makes sense when you think about it, because it's like, why wouldn't she be able to fight in it? Because it's just like an extension of a Shikai ability, and like a Shikai ability doesn't stop her in her tracks. We only really saw it for that one tiny moment where she didn't even have to move at all, so I think it's a really natural conclusion that eventually she will be able to fight in it. But, you know, we just never saw that in like the manga or like the novels. We just saw it in this one game. So, yeah, that's it for Sode no Shirayuki. Okay, I am super sick right now. It's like 3 in the morning, but, you can probably tell that actually by the last, like, couple minutes. It's basically someone knocked on my door, like, in the middle of, like, right before talking about the side effects of her Bankai, and then I just kind of didn't film. I just kind of took a break for a while. So yeah, I'm recording this like 3 months later, and I'm sick, and it's like 3 in the morning, so I don't sound very good, but